guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new I Don't Work Here Lady content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled No, I Won't Make You a Goddamn Sub. Congrats on getting banned from Publix. I used to work in the deli of a Publix down in Florida, which is a fairly large grocery chain in the southeast. The Publix I worked in was fairly close to the Villages, which is the largest retirement community in the country. Probably something in the range of 2/3 RDS of all customers in the store were retirees. There was a larger than average number of rude customers, but there were a few regulars who were really foul-tempered. Of the year or so that I worked there, a 70-ish-year-old woman came in every Sunday and ordered the same thing, a toasted chicken tender sub with shredded pepper jack cheese. She was also the pushiest idiot I've ever had the displeasure of meeting. If there was a line and she was forced to wait, she'd start yelling that we need to hurry up because some of us have places to be, would loudly complain that the service here is getting worse every year, would lean over the counter and snap her fingers at anyone passing by and snap "Excuse me. I've been waiting for service. Come in here." She also had a habit of whistling at people like they were a dog to get their attention. Everyone hated this woman. She never said thank you, always found something wrong with everything you did. "This sub is burnt. There isn't enough cheese. I didn't see you wash your hands. I don't want that sub. Go wash your hands and make me a new one." And never even tried to be polite. Unfortunately, Publix has a policy of make it right, so we could never tell her to go duck herself like we so desperately wanted to. Eventually I got fed up with every other guest being a miserable old piece of crap more interested in starting a fight than they were in getting their deli meats, so I quit. 3 days after I quit, I came back into Publix and stopped by the deli to give one of my coworkers his phone charger that I had borrowed. As I turned to leave, that woman stepped out of line and said, "Hey. You work here, don't you? Come take my order." I said, "Sorry, I quit a few days ago, I don't work here anymore." Her, "Just saw you behind the counter talking to someone. If you have time to talk, you have time to help customers." Me, "Sorry, can't help you. They'll be with you soon." I tried to walk away, but she stepped in front of me and grabbed my arm, then pointed her finger in my face and started screaming at me that I was the worst employee she had ever seen, that I always messed up her order, that I should feel lucky to have a job, and that I need to do as she said or she would tell my manager. I yanked my arm out of her grip, told her to go duck herself, then walked over to the customer service counter and told the manager there that there was someone harassing other customers in the deli line. He said he had heard someone shrieking about something and was about to go see what it was. So he and I walked back over to the deli and I pointed her out to the manager. After a short conversation in which he asked her if anything was wrong, she started complaining to him that I was rude and unwilling to help. He told her that I no longer worked here, she was disturbing other customers and had to leave, and wouldn't be welcome back. She left complaining that Publix sucked and she would be calling corporate to file a complaint, and I got a few texts from my old coworkers thanking me for getting rid of her. Glad to help, and see you never, you old hag. The next story is titled Not Taking Trash is Sexual Assault. Some background: I'm a plumber and I'm only 18. I went to a trade school for high school and came out with a full-time job as an apprentice. This happened about 5 months ago and has had me ducked up ever since. I was working in a 4-story building inside the city and there's only one elevator, which we weren't allowed to use cause of the companies that worked in the building itself, and then only one spiral square staircase, needed for later. My journeyman and I were wrapping up our day and packing up everything. As the younger guy, I was sweeping and taking the loads back down to the truck to get ready to leave, and on one of my last trips, I was only taking a trash bag and a few of the hand tools I hadn't grabbed yet. I'm in my normal work clothes, but my boss isn't strict about wearing company clothing, so I'm only wearing my Dickies pants and a beat-up sweatshirt with no labels. I start walking down the stairs with the trash from the 4th floor to the bottom when a worker, networking/caller helpline company, from the 3rd floor walked out with a trash bag. I briefly walked past just finishing my day when she scoffed at me. Me being the kid I am, turn around and say I'm sorry, I didn't see you there. I didn't mean to bump into you and continued down, and then she said, here, take this SHT, I got a call I need to get on. I said that I was sorry and I didn't work for the building and it's not my job to take it. So she then exclaims, you're dressed as a janitor. My son is one too. You dress just like him. He has the same tools on him all day. I tried to tell her that I didn't and that I'm a plumber working above her on 4th. In retrospect, yes, I could have taken it, but there wasn't one of those giant trash bins to put trash in, so we had to take it back to shop to dispose of, and we didn't have much room for more in the van. I started to get annoyed, but I just remembered that I need to take breaths and walk away. I start going down the stairs when she grabbed the back of my hoodie and yanked it. I spun around like what the hell, and she slammed the bag into my stomach, sending me stumbling down the stairs. This was when one of her coworkers comes out cause of the commotion, and she starts fake crying, saying I sexually harassed her and that she shoved me down the stairs in an attempt to save herself. I tried to say something getting up, but the guy was on the phone with the cops already and he took her away to calm her down. I started to get so mad at this woman, but my coworker came to me and said everything would be fine. This is when the biggest blessings ever occurred. My buddy loves to mess with me. He'd take videos of me working or being oblivious, and he'd throw like coins at me to be funny or dump water on me just as a joke to lighten the day up a bit. Well, he recorded the interaction and the lady never knew he was there. Reason why spiral staircase was important. By the time he made sure I was alright, the cops were there about 10 minutes after the whole thing went down. They talk to the woman and they take her side of things at first. They start questioning me in the stairwell, and my buddy said he witnessed it and had a video. He began to show the video to the cop of literally everything. From the moment I began down the stairs and past this lady to her shoving me down the stairs. He talks to her, and from the second he said there was a video, she turned ghost white. They took her downstairs to the cruiser, and the cop came back to me asking if I needed assistance or ambulance, as I had a gash on my elbow when I stumbled down, but I was totally fine though, just in complete shock. He also asked if I wanted to press charges, and I said I would. In the following time since this happened, I've taken her to court. She's been charged and is serving time for assault and battery and another thing I don't recall. What's important to know, as I'm realizing now, is that there were no cameras in the stairwell. I would have been screwed. Absolutely screwed. It was a huge reality check for myself. I could be sitting in jail serving time for something I didn't do at this very moment. It could have ruined my life, to be quite honest. Luckily my buddy was there, and ever since then I have never complained once about him messing around with me. Shortly after this, the building installed new cameras everywhere. Being 5 months later, my parents have been awesome in teaching me about all this stuff. Especially since I'm a man and it can get scary with accusations like that. They believed me, and I've always been raised by them to treat women right, and I'm the kid who wouldn't hurt a fly. Disclaimer: I typed this on my phone and I sucked in English all my life, so I know the grammar is probably terrible. The next story is titled Karen Gets Put Down by a Soldier. So I, 25-year-old male German soldier, was shopping some food for dinner at the local supermarket. Usually I stop there 2 to 4 times a week on my way home in full uniform. That is why often some elderly persons ask me to help them with things like getting them something from the top shelf, or putting them a 6-pack of 1.5 liters water bottles in their cart, which is no problem for me at all, and often I ask them if they need help with putting it in their car, cause it's no big deal for me. Now to Karen. It was one day when I helped an old grandma putting some heavy groceries in her car, and after I finished I moved back to mine when I heard a lady behind me with that typical Karen voice, "Now that you're done, you can help me shopping." Me, who is irritated cause I'm dressed in full uniform, says politely, "No, sorry, I can't help you, as you can obviously see I don't work here." That was not the correct answer. She gets louder and said, "I pay taxes, so you work for me, that is." Somehow true, but no, and I said that to her and started to move over to my car. That is when I felt a very hard grip on my shoulder, and out of reflex I grabbed her arm and slammed her on the parking lot, which caused her a big bloody nose. After a lot of screaming from her and a large conversation with the shop staff and some surrounding PPL who called the police, who looked at the CCTV, I pressed charges on her for assaulting me, and she although got banned from the shop. The next story is titled Are You Deaf? A bit of backstory. I stay with my kids during the day and work nights. My husband and I have opposite shifts, so we can save on daycare. Because of this, I don't usually go grocery shopping during the week because it can be difficult getting my kids through the store. My daughter sometimes has meltdowns in big crowds. She doesn't have any sensory issues according to her doctor. We think she just doesn't like the noise or just gets tired easy, and that makes her fussy. I remembered that I was supposed to get party supplies for work today because one of the ladies there is going on maternity leave, and I had volunteered to help set up a party for her. So off to the store we all go, and everything goes surprisingly well. I'm getting ready to check out at the self-scanner when it happens. I feel a tap on my shoulder followed by the "excuse me" that we all know and dread. So I turn around. My mistake. Despite the tone used, the lady seemed relatively normal, no Karen haircut. Until she started talking. "Lady, excuse me. This won't scan." I look around and she is definitely talking to me. Now I would normally help, even if someone is rude, because, why not? However, her tone and pitch was harsh enough that my daughter started clinging to my arm. My son just doesn't care, lol. "Lady, excuse me. Hello? A little help?" I'm just focused on my daughter, rubbing her back because I feel her start to freak out. How this lady thought I could help is beyond me. I don't work there and was dressed like I literally rolled out of bed. Fortunately, the self-checkout attendant shows up and asks what the problem is. "Lady, this won't scan, and this person," gesturing vaguely in my direction, "is no help." Lady turns back to me while the attendant tries to ring up the item for her. "You are so rude. Are you deaf or something?" At this point I still hadn't said a word to her, and the idea hit me. Like a freaking beautiful rainbow wrapped in lightning. I'm not deaf, but me and my kids are learning ASL, American Sign Language. I just started learning it so I can ask basic questions and consign the Baby Shark song, "Don't Ask," my kids love it. Smiling the biggest freaking smile I could manage, I start signing. It makes no sense. I'm basically saying, "How are you? Do you want food? What is your name?" I know a little sign. Baby Shark song, lol. I swear I never saw someone lose color in their face so fast in my entire life. It was glorious. She got her items, paid, and practically ran out of there. The attendant trying her best not to laugh. I turned to the attendant and said cheerfully, "Have a nice day." She and I shared a good laugh and I went home. Peas, my daughter is fine. She probably just got scared. The next story is titled Apparently the old lady I always help in the grocery store thought I worked there. I do my shopping the exact same time every week in a large grocery store. There's a little old woman who usually does her shopping at around the same time. She has some mobility issues and doesn't buy much, so after a few times of seeing her having to flag down help every time she wanted something from a shelf above shoulder level, I approached her and asked if she'd like a shopping companion. It took me under 10 minutes to get everything on her list, and she was very gracious and grateful, even offered me a few dollars, which I didn't accept, of course. I didn't give this a second thought. I wasn't raised to question whether you take 10 minutes to help an old woman in the grocery store or not, it's just what you do. So next week when I saw her again, I asked if she'd like someone to shop with her, and she was again very grateful for the help. It became our usual routine that whenever I spotted her, usually every other week or two, I'd give her a hand. One week I didn't do my shopping at the usual time. I worked a little late, and when I came in there was a big fuss at the customer service desk, involving my shopping friend and a young man. I started to go over to be sure everything was alright, and hear the young man saying, "What do you mean no one with that name works here?" He had a name tag on. My mom saw the name, right ma? And she says he did. And the flummoxed customer service kid is saying he really doesn't have anyone by that name who works there. The young man is going, "What do you mean? Did you fire him? He was here last week, right ma?" And I realize it's my name, and the potential source of confusion. I go in for shopping immediately after work, and my work uniform is a maroon shirt and khaki pants, with a name tag. The grocery store I shop at has white shirts, any kind of pants you want, and a maroon apron with the store's logo. So a little similar. I go over and she gleefully cries, "There you are. I want you to meet my son." And he started telling me how grateful he is I was taking time out of my work to personally help his mom shop, and now that he's in town he wanted to say thanks in person and give me some money, or at least put in a good word with your manager at the store. So could you point them out so I can speak with them? Not that one though, that one thought you'd been crap-canned. I explained the confusion and they were both so touched. It was one of the most poignant moments of my life, and definitely the most meaningful I've ever had in a supermarket. The next story is titled, "Apparently, I should have said Merry Christmas." So, I used to work in a grocery store, and still shop there every once in a while. Around Thanksgiving, one of the aisles get turned into a kosher for Hanukkah aisle. Early December this year, I saw one of my friends shopping in this aisle. I know for a fact he is Jewish. I was dressed about as far from the store's uniform as I could be while still wearing clothes. He and I talked for a while, and I left him with Happy Hanukkah. A lady quickly corrected me from the end of the next aisle, "You should have said Merry Christmas." I ignored her and went to stand in line at the deli, where I had worked before and still knew some employees. She decided to press the issue. I don't remember the entire conversation, but she eventually demanded to see a manager. Fortunately, one was nearby. He walked up and greeted me first, asking how my job at other company in other city was going. Suffice to say, the lady in question got a good talking to about how different religions handle various food-based restrictions. He added that if she accosted any customer or employee again over how they talk to people of these faiths, she would be banned from the store for the remainder of the holiday season. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.